Okay, just had our really a Tuesday practice, preparing for our first game. We went full scouts the whole practice for the first time. Felt good to get in a routine. We named John Rhys Plumlee our starting quarterback a couple of days ago. It was an extremely close race. I think everybody knows that. But he's our starting quarterback. Got a lot of confidence in him. He's got good command of the offense. He can create when things break down. Mikey did a super job, and I told him, hey, you're probably going to have to help us win this season. We got two guys we can win with, and so both of them will be ready. But we're real happy for John Rhys and excited to see what he can do. Questions?
Coach, was there a moment when John Rhys maybe edged ahead? Was there something that sticks out in your mind where you thought, I think we're going with John Rhys?
Yeah, no, really until, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 days ago, it was kind of neck and neck. And one time one guy knew about it, the other time next. And so I just kind of stepped back and watched every scrimmage, predicting if both of them were live, what would happen with that. And so that's kind of how we came to the conclusion.
How important was it to name the starting quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's real important. Our team needed that, and our offense needed that. I've tried to play in 2 quarterbacks before, and not a fan of that, and so that's why we named a starter. And like I said, it wasn't easy. I think everybody knows that. Mikey Keene is a winner. Well, he's a winner with a capital W. And like I said, there's a good chance he'll help our team this year, and I know he'll be ready if called upon.
You had mentioned you were trying to avoid doing a 2-quarterback system and such, but is there a chance that Mikey will come in and do that kind of change of pace aspect?
Right now, we're going this first game with John Rhys, our quarterback, and we'll see how the season goes. But like I said, we're ready to see what he can do.
How is John Rhys's command in the huddle and his chemistry with the receivers?
Yeah, I think he's got really good relationships with the guys since he's been here. He's that way. Both those quarterbacks just have command of the offense. They have great relationships with their players, and John Rhys is no different. He's been here since the spring. I think that makes a big difference too. He knows the guy extremely well, and they know him extremely well.
How would you describe the way in which Mikey received the news from you about this?
Yeah, Mikey's a champ. He's a champion. I know he was disappointed, but he's a champion. He's a team guy, and he'll be ready if called upon. He practiced, really good today, and you know what you're going to get with it.
For your system specifically, how important is it to have a quarterback that can run not just to evade the pocket, but also to potentially lead the team on a given day?
Yeah, I think the big thing is when things break down, John Rhys can keep things alive, and he can create, and everything that goes with that. He just hadn't played quarterback in a couple of years, so as far as on the field, but you see him get better at every single practice. The scrimmages, he's got good command of what's going on. He can make all the throws, and I think everybody knows he can run extremely well.
How did the team kind of respond when the news was shared? What was the reaction?
Yeah. They're happy for John Rhys. They're going to get behind him at the same time. They're going to pat Mikey on the back, and they got a lot of respect for him too.
I got to pass. I have it, but
now that the starting quarterback has been named, what other questions do you have for the offense? I guess.
No, it was just a matter of today. Anytime you name a starting quarterback, you go out to practice, it feels a little bit different. You've got a starter, and they start rallying around the guy, and the uncertainty is taken away, and then you can kind of get things going. So you saw that today in practice, and I expect it'll continue to get better and better each practice. Guys sticking around, after practice, working on specific things on their own. That's what happens when you name a starter, and so it was really, really good today. I think the offense had a really, really good practice today.
I got it now.
There you go.
Not that Mikey doesn't have the experience of being thrown into the fire, but the experience factor that John Rhys comes in with, having played in those battles in the SEC, his maturity level, his confidence level, how far did that go?
Yeah, I think you got to take all of it. Anytime there's a close race, you got to take everything, that goes with it, who you feel like gives you the best chance of winning. And the fact that John Rhys, he's actually started in the SEC against some of the best defenses in college football and was extremely successful. Really what I tried to do is focus on, since he's been here, and but he's got experience, Mikey does too, and like I told you before, we're in good hands. And I will say this too about Thomas Castellano, sometimes he gets kind of lost in the shuffle. He's a big time quarterback in his own right, and we're going to continue to keep developing him. He's got a bright future.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit how Timmy McLean is getting acclimated to that role as being that scout team quarterback? You likely had a really good bounce today to start.
Yeah. I mean, our team is happy he's here. They welcomed him with open arms, and he took the scout team today. I mean, I'm not for sure exactly how it went over there, but I expect it went well, and he was real excited about it. He's got some receivers. Of course, he's got Bowman over there with him too. So I think we're going to have a really talented scout team, and that'll be nothing but good for our defense moving forward.
Coach, I know you've been through a lot of these quarterback battles through your time coaching. Where does this one rank? Was this one of the closest ones that you can recall? Like, did any other ones come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you coach for 32 years, there's going to be a handful that are extremely tough. That's a good thing for your team. It's an extremely hard thing. You just want to make sure you're right, and you do everything you can to do that. And this was an extremely close race, and I told both of them when I told them what we were doing, and they both knew that. Our team knew that. I think that's a good thing for our team going into this season. Very few teams in college football have two guys that they can win with, and I really think you throw Thomas in there, I think you can say a third. So now we only got 3 quarterbacks eligible on scholarship. That's a little bit scary too, but we got 3 real guys.
You had said several times during camp that you thought it would be obvious to the players on this team who the starter was as you made
I was hoping it would be.
Does it
That's what you always hope. I mean, obviously it took this long to do it. Anytime you can't let your quarterbacks go live, it makes it a lot tougher. And remember back in 2013, we had 4 quarterbacks, and they were very equal until the last 2 weeks, and I let them go live for 2 series apiece. And after the first series, each quarterback had everybody in the building, including the managers, knew Nick Marshall was their starting quarterback. And I'm not using that for anything other than it's hard to do that. That's why I said I had to predict watching scrimmages what would happen afterwards. I did the same thing with Cam Newton. He won the job after spring, and I'd sit there and look, would they tackle him? I don't know, probably not. And then of course the first game, everybody figured out nobody could tackle him. So, you just gotta use your wisdom and your experience as a coach, and that's how we got to this point.
So when you say you're predicting ahead, do you see that John Rhys has a little bit more of an ability to make a play than perhaps Mikey?
Well, I mean, John Rhys, I think everybody knows. You can go back to when he was a true freshman against the national champion. He rushed for 205 yards. I mean, he's dynamic with his legs. I think everybody knows that.
Coach, do you feel a bit more calm now that a decision has been made? It seems like you don't have to answer all those. Who's going to do the quarterback back and forth? How does that feel for you now?
It's just kind of the next step. I mean, that's a step as for our team, naming a starting quarterback, and there'll be more challenges throughout the year. Whether it's injuries or opponents or whatever it is. Facing adversity, dealing with adversity, overcoming adversity. I mean, that's what the season's about. And so, from a head coach's standpoint, you just keep building and keep preparing your team for the season.
Speaking of injuries, is Amari getting a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, Amari's going to be out for a little bit. I mean, he's a big factor. Y'all know that. I mean, he's one of our best special teams players. He's one of our better receivers. So we'll see on the timetable. I'll try to keep you updated. I know he will be back. Okay, but that's the one that's probably the biggest right now.
What's it like flipping it around when you have to play against a quarterback that's like John? How much more difficult is it to prepare?
I mean, it changes. I mean, you got a game plan. You got a game plan differently. If a guy is a running threat and a kind of a 1+ runner compared to a regular offense, so it's just defenses are. In college football, there's a lot of dual threat guys, and so the defense coordinators are used to dealing with that.
Coach, just kind of in this day of age of college football with players coming and going, do you worry about losing a quarterback this year to the transfer portal?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a new age of college football. I think you got to be aware of every scenario. You got to talk through, you got to think ahead, and that's just the new age of college football, being a head coach.
As somebody who's literally written books about offense in the game of football, and then you see Plumlee getting the start here as a mobile guy. Do you really think kind of the state of the quarterback position kind of requires now dual threat to be kind of at the next level at all levels?
I don't know. I mean, you look at the teams that are or late in the go, there's different offenses that are successful. You know, I know that, you know, you get at the highest level, you got to have a guy when things break down be able to make a play and create. You know, you play the top defense of college football, I don't care how good your protection is. I mean, things are going to break down, and you got to have a guy that can extend plays. And you look at the highest level of football, I mean, there's different quarterbacks that have been successful. They hadn't all been dual threat. There's been Tom Brady's and all that. They're all, so, you know, I think it's just a coach's philosophy and what he wants to do. I think that's probably more than anything.
How does having John Rhys as your starter change what you may want to do with your running game?
You know, it doesn't matter who your whoever you pick as your starting quarterback, you build around their strengths. I mean, I've always done that. I'm a former high school coach, and that's kind of how I survived and moved up. You know, whoever our starting quarterback was, we built around his strengths, and we'll do that same thing with him. Now, we'll tell you this: he can throw it. I mean, he can flat out throw it. So, but he can make plays with his feet too, and so it's just going to be a matter of getting experience. Like I said, he hadn't played, you know, against opponents in 2 years. You know, he's been playing wide receiver, I guess, the last year and a half before he got here. So, but I expect him to be very successful.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the growth and maturity Johnny Richardson has made? I personally have seen a lot of strides from Johnny, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to do this season.
Yeah, from this last time to this time this year, I mean, he's turned into one of our leaders. And you know, last year, you know, he was obviously dynamic with the ball in his hands. He got a little excited a couple games early and actually tackled himself. I don't expect him to do that anymore, but he has gotten to be a well-rounded running back. He can protect. He understands the schemes up front. He does the little things, playing without the ball extremely well, and he's dynamic. I mean, that guy, I mean, he's dynamic. We're going to get the ball in his hands.
I think pretty clear coming out of Lake Wells, he was just a speed guy. I coached against him as well. He put up 5 touchdowns on us. But now, like you said, it seems that he's become a well-rounded back. And even in the return game, he looked pretty excited on the period that he was jumping around, like getting ready. So
yeah, he's going to be a big time. You got to get the ball in his hands. I mean, he can break tackles. He's quick. He's a lot more confident than he was last year. And a lot of times, that's all a talented player needs. And like I said, he's turned into one of our leaders.
You mentioned the layoff of the position for John Rhys, having not played a game in a couple of years. Through camp and through spring, have you noticed him kind of adjusting to the game speed, and what sort of ways have you simulated to prepare him for Thursday?
Yeah, you know, I think so. You know, and then like I said, we did go live one time in the spring, and he was able to make some plays with his feet and show what he can do. But you know, it's like anything else, just getting comfortable. And I think every time he goes out there, he's more and more comfortable.
How many guys are still in the race for the punt return job?
Oh gosh, we had 4 out there today, and the goal is by the end of the week determine who our starter. You know, Maury, we're not going to have him the first game, so but we got some good options. I will tell you that. But you know, the first game a year, first minute, whoever we trust to catch the ball, that's the main thing. And so we've been working hard with that. You know, our punt returner, our punter, and our kicker will have all that resolved and to you know, by the end of the week.
Coach, Timmy mentioned how excited he was to come and play for you, especially with you having worked with guys like him who have gone on to be successful. What do you tell a guy like that who's new coming in, and have you all had a chance to do any like team bonding activities, you know, making fun, making comfortable?
Well, he just got here on Saturday, so we introduced him to the team, and so he's still learning. He watched practice, and Sunday we did a little walkthrough. He was with us. But like I said, I mean, I've known about him. There's nothing like being on the other sideline in a rival, and he's the other quarterback, and he takes it down to the end. He's electric. He can do a lot of different things. And what stood out to me is his competitiveness and his competitive fire, and how his team was responding to him. So, you know, he's a young guy. You know, he's an intelligent guy. He's from one of the local high schools, which it all fits with us. Like, we got to keep our best players at home, and he's another top guy. And my experience is, you know, great players, especially local, they want to play together, they want to dream together, they want to do something special. So he's a really good player in his own right. He's going to compete, you know, for the job. But big picture, he's also going to help us recruit. So it all works together. He's a fine young man. We're glad we have him.
How did your 2 transfer receivers do in camp, Javon and Kobe? What are your expectations for the pair this season?
Well, Kobe was here in the spring, so, you know, and he played for me before. He's got an understanding, and Javon's a real talented guy. He's still learning the offense, still learning the little things that goes with it, and the tempo and everything that goes with that. Okay. Anything else? All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.